We are back in the kitchen talking some chef's tips. Today we are going to talk about how to prep like a line cook. Why are line cooks the experts in prepping? If they don't do it well, their rush will not be fun. Line cooks have to get all of their components prepped and ready to go in the morning, and that way, whether it's a lunch or a dinner rush, they have as much prepared as possible, so when your tickets come in, you're really just thinking about cooking to the perfect temperature, whether that's the meat or maybe toasting bread, and then assembling the plate, right? You want to be able to get those tickets out just as quickly as they're coming in. And so being prepared and having all of your mise en place done is so important to cranking out those orders. Mise en place means everything in its place. Mise en place is French, of course, and really it just means, be organized and be as prepared as possible. That's great and all that line cooks, prep the day for the evening rush. But at home, you're not going to be prepping all morning for a dinner for a family of 4. So how we can translate this to our at-home uses is think, maybe on Saturday or Sunday, the week to come. And so you're going to prep maybe on a Sunday morning, and then each meal that you make throughout the week will go that much quicker. So what are some things you need to keep in mind whenever you're really planning out your prepping for the week? 1, start with the biggest task. If you have to chop and blanch 50 pounds of potatoes, you should make that your first task, because when you're fresh and that's the first thing you do, you'll get it done, and then you'll be able to check mark a big part off of your to-do list, and just makes the rest of the day go smoother when you know that you have that big task just completed. Another thing to keep in mind is if you are making a sauce or something that sits on the stove for a while, what are you going to do with that downtime? It could be a great time to slice up some of your veggies, or wash dishes and kind of clean up your kitchen and get it ready for the next task. So if you know that whatever your item needs some rest time, make sure to fill it with another task, and just keep moving. Now our bonus pastry chef tip is think further ahead. So in the restaurant or hotel world, this means thinking 2 or 3 days out, whereas typically a line cook will be prepping for the same day. Pastry cooks typically prep at least 3 days out, right? So you might be baking your cake on Monday, you can build it on Wednesday, cut it and serve it on Thursday. How we relate that to at-home cooking is, instead of just thinking those 3 days out, think maybe up to 2 weeks out. So there are some veggies that are going to stay fresh for those 2 weeks. So maybe carrots. Maybe you're thinking about making chicken noodle soup at the end of next week. You could chop up your carrots today and knowing that they're still going to be good later on. Another way to think a little bit further out is if you have prepped a lot of stuff and you have maybe half of a bell pepper left, then you can be thinking now, how do I use that up over the next week before it goes bad and I have to throw it out, right? We want to reduce food waste as much as possible. So if you know that you have leftover ingredients now, you have more time to think of a fun way to use it up. So you may find that after you cook something, you have more leftovers than you expected, and you already have your meals planned for the rest of the week, planned and prepped for the rest of the week. So most of the time you can take that meal, maybe bag it up or put it in a nice easy container, and go ahead and pop that in the freezer right away. That way you aren't at the end of the week looking back and, oh, that meal has been in the fridge for 4 days. Is it still good? I don't know. Maybe I'll toss it just in case. Again, reduce that food waste. We're probably not going to eat it. You can just pop it in the freezer and then it's ready for you on one of those hectic days where all you want to do is thaw and reheat something. You're prepared. Now, our last major tip is to label. We label things all the time, and usually that is for health code and knowing which buckets to pull from first, so that first in, first out inventory, right? So you want to make sure you use up the oldest. At home, you probably don't have that much that it's that hard to keep track of, but it's helpful to label each of your containers with the dish that it will make. And if you want to be a little extra, you can even put the day on each of them. Whenever you go reach in your fridge for that evening's meal, you see the label and you grab it and you know that you're good to go. And so that you're not accidentally pulling the fajita veggies when you wanted the pisto veggies, right? Label it, make it clear for everyone in the family to see, and you are set up for success for the rest of your week. So for me this week, I'm going to make some raspberry oat muffins, going to make pisto manchego, going to do the steak fajita quesadillas, and then a chicken pesto pasta. So Sunday, I'm thinking, what can I prepare that will make the rest of my week go smoother? So raspberry oat muffins, I have got the dry ingredients here ready to go. So we've got flours and our chemical leavening. So once I'm ready to mix the muffin batter, I just have a few more ingredients that I need to measure out, and then I can start mixing really quickly. So in many of your baking recipes, your dry ingredients can be scaled ahead of time. And I'm planning to make these muffins really soon here. But if I was going to wait a couple days, maybe put them in a bowl like this, and then I have this handy dandy beeswax wrap, which is a more sustainable alternative to plastic wrap. And you just seal the bowl like this, put a label on top. These beeswax wraps are then easy to wash, cold water and your normal dish soap. Wash them by hand, let them dry, and you get so many more uses out of them than that single-use plastic wrap. Now, another great ingredient to prep that's easy to prep are veggies. So especially veggies for saute. So pisto manchego, you saute everything together. So I have got my bell peppers, my zucchini, my onion, and then some tomatoes here. Now the great thing about pisto manchego and steak fajita is they have a lot of similar ingredients. So here for steak fajita, I'm going to saute the bell peppers and the onions again. So I chop the veggies for both of them at the same time, and I put them in their separate containers. Now, once I want to make my fajita dinner, I already have my veggies done. If today's prep day, I can shred my cheese today and save it in a silicone bag, and I can make my tortillas. Another easy veggie prep is for salads, right? So I've got my spring mix, I washed it, and now I have it in a bowl. And so I can grab this at any time out of the fridge and make my salad. Now, I love eating cucumbers and tomatoes in almost every salad I make. So I chopped up some cucumbers, also from the garden, and some of my cherry tomatoes. So I just pop them in there. And now, even that part's done for me. Another great thing to think of at the beginning of the week is, will I need to thaw anything for my future meals? And then think about the timing of, can I thaw it today? Will it still be good the day that I plan to use it? If so, pull it out right now. Because if you don't, you will forget later. You'll be driving home from work and think, oh man, I wanted to make that for dinner tonight, and this part of it isn't thawed. Great. So find that green chili lurking around in your freezer or whatever item it may be, and set it in the fridge. That way it can just slowly thaw on its own time, and then it is ready for you when you are ready for it. So the last big thing that is great to prepare ahead of time and will typically last you until you need to use it are sauces. So think about what you're going to make this week. It could be a salad dressing. For my case, it's going to be the pesto for the chicken pesto pasta. Alrighty, so we are set up. I have got my tortillas for my fajita quesadillas. I have got my veggies for that fajita. I'm thawing my green chili. I've got my veggies chopped for my piso manchego. I have my pesto made for my chicken pesto pasta. And then I've got the nice salad greens already with some cucumber and tomatoes ready to go for a nice salad anytime during the week. So this is a great starting spot to be at. When you're driving home after work on Monday and you're thinking, okay, we're gonna have chicken pesto pasta for dinner. Pesto's already made. All you have to do is boil that pasta and grill that chicken. It definitely makes getting dinner on the table go so much quicker. So we all know that there are those days where more joy in the kitchen means a quicker dinner on the table. And prepping your meals ahead of time is gonna allow you to have some of those days where instead of spending more time cooking, you can be sitting down with your family and enjoying that meal. So these are our tips of how to food prep like a line cook and really get you in a great spot for all of your week's meals. Thank you for joining me today. We will see you next time. Thank you, Chefeteers.